Yes, I'm a YouTube atheist, but try not to hold that against me, okay?
You sound like someone at an AA meeting. How much shame do you feel about being an atheist right now? It's already clear to everyone that you're ashamed of being white and male. So why not just be ashamed of your belief system while you're at it?
Here are 5 toxic things about YouTube atheism. Number 1, it has a sexism problem.
Or, more like it has a sexy problem, am I right?
Many of the most popular atheists on YouTube are brazen anti-feminists who insult and belittle women and men, but mostly women, who speak out against gender inequality.
Mr. Shives, could you do me a favor and just look a little bit less bored when you're saying these things? It almost sounds like you're just sitting there, giving a line that you've given 1,000 times, and it all sounds meaningless now, doesn't it?
They also proudly deny the existences of things like the wage gap, rape culture, gender imbalances in political and cultural representation, and other problems that are widely accepted and seriously discussed outside of the misogynist circle jerk that is the atheist community on YouTube.
Well, hold on there a second. You missed a few buzzwords. What about transphobic and Islamophobic? Oh, what was that? He'll get to those soon? Oh, okay. Well, alright, I'm sorry, my mistake. Let's keep watching. Oh, but before we do, let me point out that in the YouTube atheist community, the one that you don't want to be a part of, as you previously mentioned, we do discuss things like the wage gap, etc. But I'm afraid our discussions might be a tad boring for someone of your ilk. You see, we use things like statistics and facts. So really, we do have those discussions. You might not be aware of that though, since you block everyone who follows someone you don't like. And the fact that you're so afraid of leaving your tiny bubble to come and see what other people are saying. How do I know this? Well, you see, Mr. Shives, I'm blocked by you, even though we've never once spoken. Don't I get the courtesy of telling you to fuck off before you get to block me? My god. You're so fragile.
But lest you think that sexism is the only form of bigotry running rampant in atheist spaces on YouTube, let me assure you, number 2, it also has a racism problem.
Oh shit, we do? Guys, no one told me we're supposed to be racist. Oh, I'm sorry, one second. I have to go tell these guys. You guys have to get out of here. Leave. Shoo. We're racist now. I'm sorry. Steve Shives said that you guys aren't welcome in this community. Whew, that was a close one. I'm glad you pointed that out to me. See, I thought they were well-reasoned, interesting people. But if we're racist, I guess I just can't get along with them. Whoopsie doodle.
And it's the best kind of racism, too. The willfully oblivious kind.
My mind is blown. I didn't know that there were tiers of racism. That kind of makes sense, though, doesn't it? Let's think about this for a second. If there are levels of privilege and there are levels of victimhood, then naturally it would follow that there are levels of racism. Steve Shives, you seem like an expert on this whole racist thing. I wish I subscribed to you sooner. I just didn't understand our community before now.
One of the most subscribed to atheists on YouTube recently made videos espousing his views.
Oh shit, can't have that.
That, for example, black Americans who speak out against racial injustice are part of a victim cult.
Did you see that righteous indignation just now? Because I saw it.
Or the displacement of black folks by gentrification isn't a problem because it results in nicer neighborhoods with fewer thugs hanging around.
I'm going to guess, go on a limb really, that you've never lived in one of these places that would benefit from gentrification. Frankly, some of us might agree that gentrification would do certain neighborhoods some good. But the fact that you have no argument against this, but simply righteous indignation, shows that you haven't given it any thought now, have you? Your mind has jumped straight to, oh, potentially racist thing was said, must accuse, and skips all the work of trying to determine if there was something to that argument.
Or, my personal favorite, the true outrage isn't racism, but people calling people like him racists.
Well, shit, you might be onto something. If only people had problems with being labeled things that they aren't. For someone who has personally championed so much anger about pronouns and personal labels, Should you really be criticizing people who get upset when you mislabel them? Disc.
Because why would anyone think that the white guy who makes a virtue out of publicly not giving a shit about black people was a racist? It's ridiculous!
Ooh, I'm glad we agree. It is ridiculous. Now, I don't personally care that much for TJ, but he has made some good arguments for the black community. He's talked about the problems with police violence and the problems with governance overall. Oh, but that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot. You don't get reception for his channel in your little bubble, do you?
Hang on, I'm not done.
Why not?
Number 3, it has a religious bigotry problem too.
I was kidding before when I said I thought you were ashamed of being an atheist. But more and more I'm starting to think maybe you are. My god, your victim stack must be super fucked up right now. What with Islam being such a hot button issue and also a religion?
The ugliest religious bigotry in the YouTube atheist community is, of course, directed at Muslims, who are commonly stereotyped as potential terrorists and whose religion is viewed as inherently worse and more dangerous than any other.
Mayhaps it's just me. But lately, I haven't had a Christian who's tried to behead me or blow me up. So there's that. You know what, Steve, you're absolutely right. We should focus more on all those Christian terrorist attacks across Europe. Those don't get enough publicity.
But there's still plenty of judgmental condescension left over for Christians and religious folks in general.
I don't understand. Are you defending religion? Can you call yourself an atheist anymore? Is that something you actually identify as? You did at the very beginning of this video. You said you were an atheist. Did that change since the beginning of the video? Oh wait, I know how to figure this out. There's this guy I saw a video of a while back. Well, let's see what he has to say about this.
And God agrees because Muhammad is just that awesome. And then Muhammad goes home and he fucks his 9-year-old wife. Now, that last bit isn't actually officially a part of the story of Muhammad's night journey. I just thought that I should add it because to me, the obviously invented self-serving fairy tale about Muhammad flying a flying horse from Mecca to Jerusalem and then up to heaven to talk with God is less important than the fact that he married and fucked a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, very interesting. Steve, I think he makes some interesting points myself. Old Steve, not so much new Steve anymore now.
Many YouTube atheists will still cite belief in God as evidence of mental illness, thus denigrating religious folks and the mentally ill at the same time.
Your audience might have missed it, but I sure as fuck didn't. You just said that comparing mentally ill people to the religious was a denigration to the mentally ill. That calling a mentally ill person religious was insulting. That was great.
Not that they give a shit. Pushing the religious into the mud and then pointing and laughing at them is one of YouTube atheism's most treasured pastimes.
Yeah, sure. When a theology demands that I personally am murdered or converted, sometimes not in that order, then yes, if I want to bloody their nose and push them into the mud a little bit, maybe drown them, I'm okay with that. And I think most reasonable people would understand this.
That might be why, number 4, it's addicted to drama and conflict.
Whoa there, partner. Just because you're allergic to conflict doesn't mean we're addicted to it. It just means that we don't cry when someone says something mean to us. In fact, people say things I don't agree with all the time, and I don't break out in shives. Oh shit, I actually meant to say hives there. I'm not even shitting you. Oh well.
Some of the most watched atheists on YouTube today began making videos in response to creationists. Some of them conducted themselves with class, dignity, and intellectual honesty.
Some people met my standard of entertainment.
Striving to have civil conversations with often exasperating adversaries.
Steve, you don't know anything about conversation, because you can't have conversation with anyone you don't agree with.
But even back in those less fractious early years, before the community's pervasive racism and sexism surfaced, the most popular personalities were those who gleefully bullied their targets.
Oh my god, you just mean people who don't look as bored as you when they talk. It's not about glee. It's about having a goddamn personality. Yeah, just look at that face. You look bored. A little bit ill, but mostly bored. Do you even enjoy what you do? I know most people don't. I mean, I hate Subscribe You. I think a lot of people at this point hate Subscribe You. If you hate doing this so much, maybe you should think of a more entertaining line of work. Do you think you're making change happen? Wait. I've got a joke for this. How many Steve Shives does it take to change a light bulb? None. Because that bastard can't change anything. Wait, what? You heard this one before? Fuck you. Yes, I stole it from that feminism joke. Sue me.
Small wonder then that once the creationist opponents had been exhausted, the bullies turned and found new enemies within atheist circles.
Wait, do you believe that, Mr. Steve? Do you believe that YouTube has less creationists on it now than it did before? Have you really sunk so low as to just try to make a narrative? I understand that's the trendy thing to do now, just say what makes you sound right, but that's awfully sad, don't you think? The religious right has not disappeared, it's just become less of a threat than the zealous left. So don't get too comfy there, Christians. We'll get back to you once we're done with these usurpers of the left.
And it turns out that most people who enjoyed watching obnoxious white dudes attack Christians were just as entertained by watching those same obnoxious white dudes attack women, Muslims, and racial justice activists.
Well, god damn it, Steve. I could... We're not all obnoxious white guys. We had some black guys, and they were pretty cool, but you made me get rid of them at the beginning of this video. You made me do it. So, fuck you. I'm gonna invite them back. I don't care what you say anymore, because you're just insane, asshole.
That the YouTube atheist community is now dominated by professional trolls who manufacture conflict in order to generate content and views.
Steve, how do you know these things? You haven't taken your head out of the sand long enough to see these YouTubers. I'm sure you've seen some videos where enough of your fans have pointed it out because, well, they're tired of your silence. But aside from that, you've just not been around. Like some kind of cunt who bitches about who's representing them, but they never vote.
Would be bad enough if the damage they caused was confined to YouTube, but it's not.
You know, you're absolutely right. The damage being done by social media isn't contained to that social media, which is why I joined social media. Because for a long time now, I've watched as it leached out of social media and into reality, into our schools, into our government, and it's fucking disgusting. So I'm adding my voice to the side of reason. And a lot of people are adding their voice to the side of reason. Because people like you have forced us to do it.
Number 5, it reflects poorly on the rest of the atheist movement.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you No True Scotsman Atheist Edition. They don't represent true atheism, certainly not mine. That's what you're saying right now. You're attempting to compare the popular, reaching YouTubers to factions such as ISIS. Is that it? But I'm sorry, Steve. Only one faction is interested in controlling the thoughts and behaviors of the entire community. And it's not us.
Ever wonder why, with a few notable exceptions, YouTube atheists are not invited to address secular conferences or represent atheist organizations to the public?
You mean those shit shows, which can't even fund themselves anymore because they can't get enough people to show up? Oh no, I've never wondered anything about that.
If you're lucky, your first contact with atheism on YouTube came in the form of one of the more responsible voices.
One of our responsible, pre-approved voices.
Like Aaron Ra, Seth Andrews, or Matt Dillahunty.
Oh yeah, I remember Aaron Ra. He managed that shit show of a convention we just talked about.
But unfortunately, it's much more likely that before you got to them, you discovered one of the people I'm talking about in this video. One of the proudly offensive,
one of those wrong-thinking thought criminals.
Cluelessly bigoted assholes who might as well be caricatures of atheists drawn by alarmist evangelists.
Hey, whoa. Didn't you just say it's not cool to shit all over a religion like that? So it's just Islam, right? Because they're often brown, right? That's it. Steve, why are you such a racist? Oh my god. I get it now. he's an expert on racism because he's a racist. God damn it. Now I have to go apologize to all those black YouTubers I told to leave because I thought you were right and I was just wrong. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Can you please come back? Guys?
We atheists like to pat ourselves on the back for being more reasonable than the religious folks, but I don't think that's true.
You're now saying that religious people are more reasonable than atheists. Full stop. I don't have anything funny to say about you anymore. You're just a goddamn parody at this point. Oh, wait, I know. You're balding. There, I saved it. Gotcha.
And judging by the most visible representatives of our movement on YouTube, the most unreasonable belief shared by many of us might be the belief that we're the reasonable ones.
I just don't understand you. Let's take the most incendiary people I can think of, which would be someone like TJ or Atheist Rue. Now let's compare them to some of the most visible religious components, like Westboro Baptist Church, or perhaps ISIS. They're pretty fucking visible, wouldn't you say? Tell me, Shives, do you know off the top of your head the name of a single imam who doesn't support Sharia law? If not, and I'm gonna guess you can't, that person isn't very visible then, are they? So again, we're left with people like Westboro and ISIS. And you know what? So what, TJ likes bananas up his butt. TJ hasn't killed anyone. That I know of. To be fair, if he turns out to be a murderer, my bad. Well, there you have it, everyone. 5 reasons Steve Shives is losing the plot. Hope we were able to share a few laughs today. God knows I cried a little bit. But that'll be it for now. You guys have a good night. Hey everyone. If you like that show, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want me to make more content, hit the subscribe button. That way I know I'm just not, singing to an empty theater, that kind of thing. Goodbye.